Now let's move on to step 6. And step 6 is all about placing the covers for the belts between these two front and rear gearboxes. And we do that using some components that we got from the component tree. So we had to turn to component tree OT206, and we had to get part 1 and part number 2. Make sure you get these the right way around. This is part 1 with these little on the front, and this is part 2 with these little side gaps here, refer to the drawing over here. We also need to get from the OT206 tree, we need to get this cap, which is like this, and I'll come back to these in a moment, and this cap, which is the smaller one, which is OT206 part 3, and this is part 4. We also need the clear covers, and they're in a separate bag, OT206B part B, and OT206B part A, which are these clear covers. And we need some hardware, which we got in our bag B anyway. Okay, so we have what we need. We just need to now screw these all into place. And the thing to note here, I think the drawing's trying to get you to note here, especially here, is at the bottom of these covers, these caps, there is a shoulder there that you place that up against. So the idea is that when you screw that together, that goes up to that shoulder. That's what it's trying to get at. So hopefully you got that on the video there. Okay, so that's what we're trying to achieve. That's what this is pointing to here. So okay, and again, as you're screwing into plastic, do not over tighten. Just need to nip these up. Right, so let's crack on with that. So let's don't know how we're going to do one or the other first. I don't think it matters too much, whichever one we want to do. So let's try the bottom one first. There we are. That's better. That's better. You can't see it ridges. It gets quite rigid there when you do that. And there we go. So now we need to make sure that we put the correct cover on. So the longer cover goes on here. Okay. And I'm assuming this longer cover's got to go. Yeah, it's got a kind of tuck. It's got like a recess in there to tuck it into. There we go, like that. And then we've got this guy. So I think with this little shoulder we got here, we've got to make sure that shoulder, as it goes in, you see it's got to go, got to find its way in between there. Let's pop that in. So again, making note, there's a little dot on the plastic to show you which way it goes. And then we use the 2mm by 8mm screws. So, oh, not those ones. That would be these guys. So just offer them up onto the drawing just to make sure. Yeah, that's the ones. They've got to be quite small as well. There we are. One of them in the moment, and I'll find another one. There we are. And what I need to do is, like I say, I need to pop that in. And then I think once we've got that down somewhere near, that's when I think we need to pop that plastic on. And we should be able to move it up to that shoulder that we saw. That's the idea of it. bit more. That's the reason why it's not tightening up properly, because it's not. It should sit. There we go. And again, just don't go too mad with these. Just really nice tiny screws going into the plastic. So now that that's in the right place, we should be able to. Good. There we are, so it's popped on. You can see now we've screwed that into place, and that just tucks underneath, and it tucks underneath like that. Hopefully you can see that in there. And then we've got to do the same again for the top cover. Again, making sure this is the right way round. Make sure you get these entries on the side. And again, we've got to come from underneath, like so. Okay. And then we've got to go from this one to the front. And then we sit that at the back. There we are, like that. And again, we've got our 2 millimeter by 8 millimeter self-tapping countersunk screws, OT241Bs. And we need this little cap, and we need which is OT206B part 4. And we need to make sure we get the shoulder, okay, and make sure we get the dot in the right place. And OT206B part B, and we need to make sure that this shoulder sits like that. So when it sits on here, it sits, so technically we've got to make sure it's like that. Okay, so that's what they're making sure we get this shoulder correct. Okay, you kind of feel the shoulder. So now we'll pop those 2 screws in. And I'm just gonna again pop one in so it lines it up. There we go. And again, I'm just finger tightening these because we don't want them to go mad. It's just covers. It's just little covers. There we are. There we go. And looking good. Have a quick look at the side. Yeah, a little bit more on that one. Yeah, that's good. And that sits up against that shoulder, which is where this little dot is on this side. Here we are. So that is step 6 completed. That's a nice easy step. Look at that. It's making it a bit more like a transmission system.